To all my audiobook listener who likes to listen audiobook. Chanakya In You. Chapter 2. The Kingmaker. He was known by 3 names. There was a story behind each name and Grandpa had studied them all in detail. Vishnugupta, Kautilya, and Chanakya. He was first known as Vishnugupta. This was the name that went into his official records, like how our names are printed on our birth certificates. His friends called him Vishnu. He was later known as Kautilya. Now, this name was unique to him. In history books and scholarly circles, the name Kautilya is quite well known. I then realized why Arthashastra was linked to the name Kautilya, instead of Vishnugupta or Chanakya. But what exactly is Arthashastra? I was sure this question would be answered later. For now, I was still trying to understand the meaning of the name Kautilya. There are many stories and references about how he got the name Kautilya. There is a system in India called the Gotra system. Names are given according to your Gotra, your Rishi tradition. Scholars say, he was born under the Kudala Gotra, and so, he was named Kautilya. Another belief holds that his ancestors came from a village called Kudala. A school of thought in India suggests that a person gets his name from his forefather's place of origin. A person whose place of origin is Kudala, would, therefore, be called Kautilya. Then Grandpa presented a third, more convincing viewpoint, but the most famous belief holds that since he was a person who applied kutaniti, meaning shrewd tactics, to defeat his enemies, his name was kept as Kautilya. The third name was most popular among the masses, Chanakya. This name comes from his father, Chanakya. Chanakya was a minister in the court of Dhananand, the last king of the Nanda dynasty. As a scholar and an expert on political science, his son saw him as a role model. And so, Chanakya's son was affectionately called Chanakya. I understood later in my life that for every son, deep within, his father is a role model. The father-son relation is very unique. For a child, his father is larger than life. But later, when the son becomes a father himself, he understands what a father goes through. From adoration to respect and reverence, a father and son are ever tuned to each other for life. Since the son adored his father, he also pursued the same profession. He went on to become a teacher of political science and a minister in the court of kings, advising and giving strategies for every situation. Chanakya was a student and teacher at Takshashila University, one of the biggest universities of those times. He taught various methods on how to be a great king. Therefore, he was also known as a kingmaker. Wow! I really liked the word kingmaker. Who is more powerful, a king or a kingmaker? Grandpa had opened a debate among us. Most of us were of the same view and replied, a king, of course. What Grandpa said next remained with me for life. You can become a king, but a king can lose his position over a period of time. A kingmaker, on the other hand, can make many kings. And the king will always be under the supervision, guidance, and control of the kingmaker. So, he is very powerful. He rules without opposition. He does not have power, yet he controls everything. When I grew more responsible, I realized that kingmakers exist in the contemporary world as well. They exist in every field, in politics, business, universities, government organizations, etc. It is better to be a kingmaker than be a king. Among the many students he trained was Chandragupta Maurya, the first king of the Maurya dynasty. Not that his other students did not become kings, but he was the shining example of Chanakya's principles. Among the examples of kings and kingmakers across the globe, India's Chanakya-Chandragupta combination is the one most often cited. Chanakya's life is very exciting. It is full of stories and each event has an invaluable lesson to teach us. Grandpa, of course, could not narrate all the stories to us at one go. We heard them over various sessions, during which we had imbibed Grandpa's lifelong efforts of reading books. How Dhananand killed Chanakya, how little Chanakya had to run away to save his life and complete his education, how he was the most loved student at Takshashila University and then becoming a teacher himself. Finally, the return of Chanakya to defeat not just Dhananand, but Alexander as well. I was extremely excited when Grandpa mentioned Alexander. I had read about him in our school textbooks. Yes, the very same Alexander who wanted to conquer the world, but was defeated in India. The intelligence of one man, Chanakya, had sent back one of the greatest conquerors the world has ever known with his tail between his legs. Each episode of Chanakya's life was worth exploring. He led a life of inspiration with his never-give-up attitude. Not only was he a great teacher, but he was also a phenomenal strategist, thinker, scholar, and a true patriot. What a remarkable man! Grandpa said, while playing his multiple roles effectively, he always stood for Dharma. Dharma? What is that? I asked. To understand the depth of this word, you need to study our ancient Indian scriptures. There is so much out there. But if you want to understand how to apply it in your day-to-day life, then study Kautilya's Arthashastra. Finally, Iran began my introduction to the Arthashastra, the start of an everlasting pilgrimage to discovering the Chanakya in me.